Most people look at the man who walks alone and call it sad, a failure to connect, a life quietly missing something it was supposed to have, some warmth he could not hold on to. But that is a coping mechanism. It is a story the crowd tells itself, so its own need for approval never has to be examined in daylight. The pack needs the lone man to look broken. Solitude, done correctly, was never absence. It is a system, engineered isolation, engineered silence, engineered self-sufficiency. It is built to produce a mind the pack could never manufacture on its best day. Today, we take that machine apart. This is the chosen isolation. It is the law that separates the wolf from the outcast by one brutal question. Did you choose the silence, or did the silence choose you? Most men have never once asked themselves which applies to their own life. Psychology calls this self-determination theory. Autonomy is not a preference. It is a core driver of a stable identity. A man who never owns his solitude never truly owns himself, no matter how alone he appears to stand. Take that identity away from him, and he will borrow one from whichever crowd shouts loudest that week. He will call the borrowing peace. Every hour of unowned isolation is a debt collecting interest against his sense of self. The mechanism is a weekly audit, run in 2 columns. Column 1, solitude you chose on purpose, for a reason you could state out loud to another man. Column 2, solitude you are hiding inside, using distance to avoid a decision you fear. Be ruthless in the sorting. Most men lie to themselves first in this exact column, because the second column is where the fear genuinely lives. Whatever lands in the second column gets killed this week, without negotiation, without a grace period. The outcast hides from the pack using distance as a wall. The wolf chooses the ridge, using the same distance as a weapon. But chosen silence still has to survive contact with real noise, or it collapses the first time the world gets loud. Which brings us to the second law. This is the signal vacuum. It is the principle that a flooded mind never recalibrates. It only reacts permanently to whatever hit it last. Biology explains why the fix cannot be partial. The nervous system resets its dopamine and threat response circuitry only when the flood of social signal fully stops, not when it slows down, not when it gets quieter. A man who merely checks his phone less is still flooded, still reacting instead of processing. Every notification, every scroll, is a small transfer of attention out of his own hands and into someone else's design. Multiply that transfer by 1,000 small moments a day, and the mind belongs to everyone but its owner. The mechanism is 60 uninterrupted minutes a day of deliberate signal. Fasting, no feed, no notifications, no borrowed voices. Nothing but the raw, unedited output of his own mind, on paper or spoken aloud into an empty room. The first week will feel like withdrawal, because it is one. Track the minutes for 1 week before you judge the results. Most men quit on day 3, right before the recalibration truly begins. The average man fills every silence the moment it appears, terrified of what he might hear inside it. The wolf lets the silence run its full course, and lets it sharpen him instead. Nothing forged in noise ever holds an edge for long, but a sharpened mind that has never been tested is still only a theory about strength. Which brings us to the third law. This is the winter test, the proof that self-reliance is not a trait a man is born with. It is a built skill, forged specifically under scarcity, never under comfort. Comfort produces opinions about strength. Only scarcity produces the thing itself. Philosophy names this stoic autarkia, self-sufficiency, as the root of freedom, not the reward waiting at the end of it. A free man is free because he needs less, not because he has acquired more than the man beside him. Comparison is the currency of the dependent man. The free man stopped trading in it years ago. Every dependency a man carries is a lever someone else can pull, whether he notices the hand on it or not. The mechanism is deliberately narrow, on purpose. Build exactly one skill this month that removes exactly one dependency, on money, on approval, or on rescue. Not 3 skills. 1. Pick the dependency that frightens you most to lose, and start there before comfort talks you out of it. Comfort is patient, and it will wait for you to forget why you started. Choose it this week and begin before you feel ready, because readiness never simply arrives on its own. The dependent man waits for someone to save him and calls the waiting patience. The wolf becomes the rescue himself and simply calls it Tuesday. But self-reliance, left unchecked, curdles into isolation. If a man loses the ability to tell a real bond from a borrowed one, which brings us to the 4th law. This is the pack illusion, the trap of mistaking a crowd for a covenant. Volume for loyalty. Strategy exposes the mechanics through network theory. Most connections in a man's life are weak ties. They consume his energy and attention and return nothing of substance. Dressed in the language of community and friendship. 100 acquaintances do not equal 1 ally. Most men count the acquaintances anyway because the number is easier to look at than the truth. A large network flatters the ego while quietly draining the exact resource. A man needs to build anything real. No functioning system rewards volume over quality, and a man's inner circle is no exception to that law. The mechanism is a hard, uncomfortable audit. Name the 3 relationships in your life that only ever cost you. Step back from all 3 for 30 days, without announcement and no explanation offered. Watch precisely what remains real once your effort stops propping the arrangement up. Some silence will feel like loss. Most of it will feel like relief within a week. The follower confuses a crowd for safety and never notices the crowd goes silent. The moment he genuinely needs it. The wolf knows numbers were never loyalty, only noise wearing loyalty's clothing. But a man who only withdraws and never learns to return has not built strength at all. He has built an elaborate hiding place and called it discipline, which brings us to the 5th and final law. This is strategic re-entry, the phase the pack never sees coming because it assumes exile is permanent. Jung's individuation names this precisely. A man withdraws not to escape the tribe forever, but to become whole enough to return and contribute on his own terms. Not to return broken, asking to be completed by others. Withdrawal without a return date is just abandonment wearing a philosophy. Most men who vanish never plan the return at all, so the pack simply forgets to expect them. A wolf that never returns is not disciplined. He is simply gone, indistinguishable from the men who quit and called it peace. The difference between exile and strategy is a plan for the return, written down before the isolation even begins. The mechanism is preparation, never improvisation. Define the exact terms of your return in advance. What you will give and what you flatly will not give. Write both lists down now, before pressure forces the decision instead. Set those terms before the moment of re-entry arrives on its own schedule, without your permission. The lonely man crawls back toward the pack for warmth, and accepts whatever price is demanded of him. The wolf returns as a force the pack now has to reckon with. He returns on terms that he alone set, decided on the ridge, in silence. Drop the apology for the room you need. You were never required to explain your absence. Define the standard the crowd is too comfortable to hold, and hold it anyway. Adopt full ownership of the silence you used to fear until it becomes your sharpest instrument. Build the one skill that ends your dependence, starting this month without delay. Start the audit tonight. Chosen solitude in one column, hiding in the other. Refuse to crawl back to any pack for warmth alone. Return only as something they now must reckon with. The wolf was never lonely. He was in training. Walk alone. return dangerous.